they can still go broke and disappear. But if we have home ownership, that doesn't go away. And we were promised 40 acres and a mule, and it was reneged upon. Now you're reneging on the American dream of home ownership. In East Harlem and Edgemere, there are examples of community land trusts that don't work. What happens when the community land trust goes under? We still haven't got concrete answers as to why or how they would resolve these issues. And your ideal of affordability, that is not an answer to poverty. But what I want to leave with you is this. Judas sold Jesus out for 30 pieces of silver. How much did you sell us out for?
All right, Lawanna Gelzer, and you have 10 minutes because somebody gave you time.
Mayor Dyer.
Kelvin Thompson and then Stella Lewis.
Lawanna Gelzer, 7674 St. Stephen's Court, Orlando, zip 32835. I come before you and I say, Mayor Dyer, how much power do you really need? How many more bad business decisions will this city have to suffer through? June 2013, we did a Jericho march about Paramore unkept promises. We talked about education, housing, economic development, the exploitation and the unfair practices that was exhibited in Paramore, public safety, and we gave you some grades. Housing, F. Business development, F. We even talked about the lockout of the vendors at the NBA game and some other things. The dumping ground for social services program, Paramore Community School, we finally got it after 50-some years. Public safety, F. Absentee slumlords, unfair use of code enforcement. Last week I was at your code enforcement meeting. I swear to God, I see more code enforcement in Paramore now. On the homeowners, I guess we're gonna hit them as hard as we can. Children and education, F. Transportation, F. Quality of life, F. Justification, at that time I gave you an incomplete. Gave you an incomplete. Today, you get a A+. Gentrification is real. And Paramore, you say, why do you talk about Paramore? I've told everybody, you said judge you on what you do in Paramore, so I'm judging you on what you've done in Paramore. Less than 15 years ago, 20,000 people resided in the Paramore community. We're down to 4,500. I heard today $4 million here for some housing. I've heard all kinds of things. I've been at CRA meetings where we spent $219,000 for some tree grades to protect the trees. I've just heard so much about money, and what we're talking about is $1.3 million. But I've heard so much money and so wasteful spending. So let me talk about why you should be concerned and why I don't trust community land trust. The key word is trust. And the reason why I don't have anything against the group, I don't trust the city's behavior and the policy that they've done in the past. The soccer stadium. You built that soccer stadium on the backs of the community. At first it was supposed to be a public venue, but because the church said we're not going to give in, and you did eminent domain, you had to move it. But what people failed to understand was there was a policy in place that said you couldn't sell alcohol within 1,000 feet of a church and a school. Why are you selling alcohol in that facility? Because you changed the policy. You have homeless shelter expansion. S6.9, where you couldn't expand or relocate or build new homeless shelter in the Paramore community. We fought hard for that. You rescinded that when it needed, the Orlando Rescue Mission needed to relocate off of Terry Street. And I remember distinctly someone who's currently running for office was the deciding vote against the people. We need to look at the history. We had to do a quasi-hearing to stop you. And then the next thing we knew, your tactics, Mayor Dyer, you changed the name and put it on Colonial. You got so, I guess after 2 quasi-hearings, actually 3, you changed the policy on the quasi-hearing. Ordinance 2016-96 in December. Now we got to get literally permission from you to do a quasi-hearing to check you when we feel like something is going wrong in our community. You said, you closed Paramore without a transportation study. You said, well, we don't have the funding. This is a great deal. I sat in here and watched you guys spend $6 million on Constitutional Park, 3 trees downtown. We got the money. What we need to understand is, are we important to you, or is truly revitalization mean moving you all out from the west side? And I believe it's moving us all from the west side. Lift Orlando. You got $3.5 million. Yeah, you're gonna come up here and clap and need this. But when I got back from Selma, 50th anniversary, you bought the land from foreclosure from HUD, but you didn't even put it out to bid to anybody else. The next vote was to sell it directly to them. Next vote. So of course, now let's get on with the score sheets in the process. See, on January 29th, I was in the room. And I've said it on several occasions. Your staff needs some acting classes, because it was a dog and pony show and I was outraged. So if you don't want to call them score sheets or merit sheets, they were filling something out and passing it down and signing off on it. I'd request that information. I don't want you to tell me what you gathered and put it on that little slide. I have that. I want to see what you were writing down January 29th. Because I was there and I was appalled at what I noticed. You had already made a decision. So this is just no transparency. It's going through the formality. Most likely you're going to take the vote, and we got options. We got options, people. Don't give up. You got options. But I'm going to go back to some more bad dealings with the soccer stadium. Remember, we did eminent domain. 2 properties you seized with eminent domain. The entrance of the soccer stadium, which was 639 West Central, $2.8 million. I want to know, how is the soccer stadium standing there today when you seize that property using eminent domain, and Florida statute 73.013 say you cannot sell it, rent it, or lease it for 10 years? How's it there? You had it for 18 months. I got all the documentation. You can't rescind that. And then if you rescinded it, I checked. Anything you purchase over $500,000 land, the commissioners must vote. It must come before you. You sold it back to the owner for $2.8 million after you had it for 18 months. There's no record of a vote to sell it back to the owner. And then the next day on January 1st, they quit claim deeded to the soccer team owners. You say, Lawanna, why did this have anything to do with it? The key word in community land trust is trust. It's trust. And all we're saying is your past history makes somebody wonder, what are you getting from this? They want affordable housing. I believe in the housing. I believe in it. But I have told everybody, learn from what has been done to us in Paramore, because it's coming your way. Check, do your own research. Believe in what is happening. We were told, my parents were told by the late Pappy Kennedy when they built that house on Hill Street, which was Hills Alley, in 1971, they coming. Well, people, they are here in Paramore and moving on to you. So just ask why. It's where it's located. People want to live back downtown now. People want that. So what is the most important thing? It's not the house. It's not the house, people. The phone calls I'm getting is not to buy my house in Paramore. None of them. It's that land. Land appreciate. A house is just like a car. It depreciates. But with it attached to land, it appreciates in value. It appreciates. So I was not against the project. I'm against the community land trust. Take that off, do the project, we with you. Now we got some petitions too that I'll turn in. But I just want to add to you guys, this is January 18, 1999. Paramore Initiative Role Playing by Orlando Mayor Glenda Hood. It's the same thing you doing today you done back then. You didn't change your tactics. You've never changed them. You just hope we're not here to question you. I don't have anything personal against any of you, but I can tell you this much. We will be holding you accountable from this point forward. If you've not woke up, you better stay woke, people. Learn from what has happened to us in Paramore. They're coming west. It's the land, and it's not the we do not trust what you have done to us. Thank you very much.